mask on?
Good evening, it's January 19th, it's 6:05. The Dudley Conservation Commission will be open. First on the agenda is roll call.
Samantha Costello.
Nancy Bukovic.
George Slingo.
James Kepke.
Fran Mikulajic?
Okay. First is a notice of intent for 40 Fish Road, Jonathan Andrelevich.
Good evening, I'm Mary Ann DePinto, Three Oaks Environmental, representing DJT Properties for the project at 40 Fish Road. I've been before the board before for the two farm ponds that were, it was previously a farm, and the two farm ponds received negative determination as they were created for agricultural use. And the land is going to be continued to be in agricultural use with the construction of greenhouses. I recently spoke with Matt Marrow. He was concerned that I guess it was a complaint to DEP that there was work going on in buffer zone or resource areas. I had been out to the site and directed the folks that were working outside the buffer zone to where to stop, basically. So work was ongoing. The previous landowner I have aerial photography you might have on your attachments, but showing where he stripped topsoil, made piles, and it appears that work had occurred in the buffer zone, but a lot of that was previously occurred as part of the farming operation that was going on. At this point, what we'd like to do is apply for the work that needs to be done in the buffer zone. The USGS topographic map shows an intermittent stream channel that becomes perennial at some point on the site. We have had anecdotal evidence that the stream does dry up at the culvert that goes under Fish Road, but I couldn't get 4 days of pictures because of this year. It's every time we tried to get it dry or not flowing, I mean, there's a trickle in the stream because of the amount of water we've had. So what I ended up doing is I ran stream stats on the channel. I also delineated the wetland boundary, followed the stream channel down. I have photographs in my report. The channel actually disappears underground. So that section of the channel is intermittent. There's a little tributary that comes in from the side, and from that point down, I called it perennial. It may not be, but we're going to assume it is because of the way the regulations are written. Because it's agriculture, and it's new agriculture that's being proposed, new greenhouses, actually a portion of the parking and stormwater will be within the 100-foot riverfront area. Agriculture, new agriculture and the regulations, the riverfront area is only 100 feet wide, not the 200-foot riverfront area. So the plan that you have that was drawn up by Summit shows the work that's proposed with the stormwater basin. There's an existing entrance road, but that's going to be constructed properly. It's a dirt road right now. The drainage report was also supplied by them, so that's something that I was involved with. I don't have that kind of expertise, but they determined the amount of pavement, runoff from the roofs of the greenhouses, and proposed the stormwater basins to handle the runoff from the property. The stone wall that exists along the property contains most of the wetland within it. There's some grading and a boulder wall that's proposed to keep the slope from encroaching on the wetland. That's the closest point that work gets to the bordering vegetated wetland.
No, that boulder wall you're talking is over here on the,
Yeah, it's shown as larger rocks.
yep,
To stabilize that slope, there is a wall that exists, the smaller rocks. They're going to grade down to that. And the boulders are going to keep the slope from encroaching on the wetland at that. That's the closest point, though.
okay.
Is there more than one wetland here? Just there's the stream
Stream and a bordering vegetated wetland.
over on the left-hand side of this?
Yes, yep. I kind of color-coded mine, but the blue line being the stream and the wetland, there's a finger of wetland that kind of comes up. It's kind of a flat there, so the skunk cabbage kind of crawls up towards the stone wall. Unfortunately, I was out there in the summertime, so I got to see a lot more of the vegetation then. And the report that I wrote also shows some pictures of the existing piles that the previous landowner had left behind. This area has not yet been touched in the buffer zone.
Okay, and Matt has looked at this? Matt, are you there?
No, that's-
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yep,
Yeah, I agree with what Maureen's saying. I don't have any issues with that. I was just looking to see if DEP's issued a file number. Last I saw this afternoon they had, so.
There was an issue, I filed electronically with EDEP. I paid electronically the whole bit, and it didn't submit it. I went back online yesterday, saw that it was pending, so it didn't populate the state system. I hit the button yesterday, and it did show that it submitted it. I then spoke with, I texted or emailed Judy Schmitz to see if she could issue a file number. I did not get a response, but I let her know what happened. I had filed this back in December, and it just populated the database yesterday. So,
I don't have a number.
okay,
So I looked over the NOI filing, I looked over them. I know the wetland areas, I went and looked over those a while ago. I don't have any issue with what's been filed here. I'm just waiting for DEP to give a file number to see if they have any comments.
and I do have one more comment. Portion of the lot is in priority habitat for rare species. What's the name of that grass? Anyway, it's part of the quarry which has been reviewed by Natural Heritage, and we had an individual go out and look throughout that quarry property and then onto this property. There is no habitat for the specific plant. It's shining wedge grass, I believe it's called. But they did find population of it over on the quarry side. It grows in hornbeam, birch kind of environment with little sedges growing underneath the trees, and that kind of environment in cliffy areas, so it's more over in the quarry. She sent an email, which I believe I sent in the packet, if I did. It should be in there. That there's no habitat there and no plants were discovered on the property. So Natural Heritage has reviewed it.
okay. Are there any questions from the board?
We have to wait for the DEP number anyway, don't we?
Yep,
We have to continue to.
yes, we have to continue the public hearing. Because we don't have a DEP number.
Right. I know you can't close it. If you can continue, and when the number's issued, if you could, I don't know if you could do a Zoom session or something like that to approve it. I don't know what Matt thinks. What's possible.
Matt, what do you think?
You can't do
What was
it.
the question? I didn't hear all of it.
She wanted to know if we could have a special meeting, a Zoom meeting to approve it if it comes quicker before the next meeting.
Which is in 3 weeks.
I mean, I don't have an issue with that, but probably you have to schedule it now, because in order to continue, you have to schedule it to a date and time certain.
And you can't
When's the
go
next
with
meeting?
the conditions that the DEP number comes through.
Okay.
Right, we don't know when the DEP number's gonna come through.
Yeah, so, yeah, just go with the next meeting. That's fine.
Okay,
February 9th?
so we're gonna wait till the next meeting.
Which is in 3 weeks.
Yep.
Oh, I put that in the wrong place. Okay.
Someone wanna put that in the form of a motion?
I make a motion that we continue 40 Fish Road till we get a DEP number for our next meeting.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to continue the hearing for 40 Fish Road to our next meeting, which is
February 9th.
February 9th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Today's the 19th? Okay, great. All right. Great. Will I be able to Zoom it for the next meeting instead of driving out? It's like an hour's drive, do you know? Yeah. Okay, great.
Fran,
very much.
Fran, did
Thank
you
you.
vote?
Yeah, I said yeah.
You have to state your name.
Thank you.
Oh, Fran Mikolajczyk, yes.
If you guys want, I can provide a Zoom link for the next meeting, just like I did for this one.
Okay,
It's up to you.
all right. All right,
Have a good night.
next on the agenda is continuation of notice of intent Town of Dudley Water and Sewer Department PFAS water treatment plant.
Hello, I'm Rick Canavan. I'm a wetland scientist with Ty and Bond, representing the Water Department. We presented this project last meeting. There was a few minor changes that we submitted to the commission. It included a response to comments from DP with their file number issuance. Their questions included questioning if we had looked at alternate easement routes, which we had. And just could not get cooperation with the landowner at the parcel that the DP reviewer had noted. And then he also talked about, or asked if we had looked at horizontal directional drilling, HDD, as an option for crossing the intermittent stream with the water and sewer mains. I think we'd even spoken about that last time, that's because it's a short width and there's 3 different pipes. We didn't select that as a feasible alternative just because it's a lot of setup for a short crossing. So I outlined those 2 responses to DP in the letter I sent to the commission. We did also make a revision to the layout of the pipes on 2 private parcels where we moved the run of the pipes significantly out of riverfront area. So we reduced the work in riverfront area significantly. So we provided a revised Form 3 that shows us the lower numbers of work in riverfront area. And then tonight I actually have a couple of signatures from the landowners. And there's one still pending that we will look to provide the commission in the next, hopefully by the end of this week or the beginning of next week, to finalize the owner signatures for the Form 3. So I don't know if anyone has any questions, or I can get into something in more detail if there's something else you'd like to to review.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the abutters?
I just wanted to say.
Could you please state your name?
Hi, I'm Joe Narajinsky. Part of my land is being used for this. And the only thing that I'm just going to say that my sister is also an owner on the property. She lives in Durham, North Carolina, and she's just wants to make sure that they sent the forms down to her. She's going to sign them at some point and then get it back to them. And that she just wants to make sure that those things are there before the final okay is given by the board. And everything else, I think, is going to be fine.
Say that again, the last part?
Everything else after that, I think, is going to be fine. We've talked to them about the other concerns that we had, but everything else seems to be okay.
Okay. All right. Matt, do you have any questions?
No, I had actually gone down a while ago and looked at the well delineation. I didn't have any problems with what was shown on the plan. And the plan looks good. I don't have any problems with it at all. I thought they did a wonderful job.
Okay. Hearing,
I make a motion that we issue order conditions to the town of Dudley Water and Sewer Department for the water treatment plan.
Second.
motion's been made and seconded to issue a notice of intent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Aye. Randwick Electric.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next is approval of the meeting minutes from November 17th.
Do you want to do the tree?
Oh, you want, all right.
one?
Next is review of the tree removal minor project authorization application with the $50 fee. I like it.
So it's based on what the surrounding towns are doing, like Webster. I looked at Holland Lake and Sturbridge as well, and
Yep.
they're around 45 to $75. I thought 50 would be good. And we have a minimum of 5 trees that Matt recommended. So anything above 5 tree removal, they have to go the normal route of filling out determination of ability, like Form 1, or notice of intent, Form 3.
So you're saying the limit of 5 trees for this form?
Yes.
And if it's greater than 5 trees, it has to go through the notice of intent
Yes.
process?
And that's as long as they just remove the tree and not the stump.
Yes.
Of course, the owner would always have the option of being able to grind the stump to ground level.
Correct.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we accept what's presented for the tree removal minor project.
Could we add something to this
Yes.
form that says that, you know, the stump shall not be removed unless it's ground? Or am I missing that?
Well, that part is usually in the notes, but if you want, I can add a,
Because I can see it now, someone's gonna say, well, it's not, it's not on the thing. If you could add just, you know, something to that where, you know, you can't dig up the, grinding is approved, but not to remove it, to dig it out, it's
Yes.
not.
Hey, George?
Yes.
Excuse me, there's, on the form, on the bottom, where you guys ratify it, there are conditions. I would simply write that in conditions, because the reason is you never know, there may be an instance where you have, like, somebody files for one tree, it's right on the edge of the buffer zone, and there may be a logistical reason why the stump may have to be removed for the one tree. So you may wanna have the flexibility of being able to allow that. And you just, too, could write in the conditions that any stumps won't be removed, they'll be into ground level.
Okay.
See right on the bottom where it has section
Yeah,
says
where it says conditions,
one.
yes. Okay.
You could add a little check, maybe a little, just grind stumps with a little square that says checkbox.
You
Or,
can do that too.
Yeah,
you know,
I can
or,
have that.
right there in the conditions, like just a little checkbox here that says grind or, or other. So it's at least here on the form. This makes it
Yeah, you
easier.
can put two check boxes, one says grind stumps, the other one says stump allowed to be removed. You could do that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even other, just so that it's a purpose of discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in this case, my recommendation is that the stumps be ground,
Right.
at the landowner's option.
That's my position 99% of the time.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'll revise that and then give it back next meeting for approval.
Okay. And last is the meeting minutes from November 17th and December 8th.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of November 17th as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the minutes for November 17th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Brad Mikulicek says aye.
Opposed? Jim? Set? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
You gonna sign for Fran? Two?
Two will.
Yes.
How about December 8th meeting?
Hang on, I'm just reading it. I make a motion, we accept the minutes of December 8th as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the meeting minutes from December 8th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Brad Mikulicek says aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah, maybe.
Yep.
She was hoarding them. Someone make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
At
Aye.
at 6:30.
Mikulicek says aye.
Okay. Thank you.